Okay. I'd like to call the Rental Housing Board meeting to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Rental Housing Board Member Hamilton,
Present.
Fregoso,
Present.
Evans,
Present.
Brown,
Present.
Chairperson Heaney.
Present.
A quorum is present.
Persons wishing to address the Inglewood Rental Housing Board on any item on the agenda other than the appeal and capital improvement petitions may do so at this time. You have 2 minutes. Public comment section is now closed. Item number 1.
This roll call is to ascertain if the Rental Housing Board members have any conflict of interest with any items on the agenda. If there are no conflicts of interest, board members are to answer with a vote of no.
Madam Secretary?
Rental Housing Board Member Hamilton,
No.
Fregoso,
No.
Evans,
No.
Brown,
No.
Chairperson Heaney.
No. Item 1AI-1.
Appeal application submitted by the appellant Jonathan Gallagher, owner, pertaining to a reduction in housing services garage removal for the property located at 124 North Inglewood Avenue, Inglewood, California, 90301, case number 25-T003-A01.
Has notice been given in time and form and manner to the applicant and tenants?
Notice has been given in the time, form, and manner to all the affected parties.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Maria Heaney. I am the chair of the Rental Housing Board for the City of Inglewood Housing Protection Department. I want to give a brief summarization of why we are here and directions on how this appeal hearing will be conducted. The purpose of this hearing regarding petition number 25-T-003 concerns the appeal filed by 124 Inglewood LLC, the property owner, of the hearing officer's decision regarding a rent decrease petition for the property located at 124 North Inglewood Avenue in Inglewood, California. The decision being appealed concerns the hearing officer's determination that a rent reduction was warranted after the removal of garage or parking services previously provided to the tenants at the property. The hearing officer then granted a rent reduction of $400 a month. The task for the board is to determine whether there was substantial evidence to support the hearing officer's decision. In other words, if reasonable evidence supports the decision, it should generally be upheld, even if the board might have weighed the evidence differently. Also present are representatives of the City Housing Protection Department, including Yakima Decatur, Assistant City Manager, Amari Watson, Housing Protection Program Coordinator, Board Liaison, Gabriel Londari, City Attorney, sorry if I said that wrong, Nakosha James, Board Secretary, and Shatara Smith, Board Assistant. For the record, will the parties and/or representative present to discuss this matter, please identify yourselves. So the nature of this proceeding. This hearing is to appeal the hearing officer's decision. The board's role today is to review that decision and record created at the hearing officer's hearing and that determine whether substantial evidence support the hearing officer's decision. The board may ask questions to the parties to better understand the record of the issues raised in this appeal. Under the Inglewood Municipal Code and the city's rent stabilization ordinance policy and procedures, and because this matter is on appeal, the board's review is primarily based on the evidence and testimony that were presented to the hearing officer. Therefore, the purpose of today's hearing is not to receive new testimony, but for parties to explain their positions regarding the hearing officer's decision and to answer questions from the board. The conduct of the hearing. For the duration of this hearing, it is very important that everyone remain patient, wait their turn to speak, and treat all participants with courtesy and respect. This hearing is being recorded so an accurate record can be maintained. Please speak clearly and avoid speaking over one another so the recording is clear. The hearing will proceed as follows. First, the applicant, the property owner of the owner's representative, will have the opportunity to present the basis for the appeal and explain why the hearing officer's decision should be modified or reversed. Second, the tenant or tenants representative will have an opportunity to respond and explain why the hearing officer decision should be affirmed. Third, the applicant may provide a brief reply limited to issues raised in the tenant's response. After the presentations, members of the board may ask questions of either party in order to clarify the record. After both sides have had the opportunity to speak and the board has asked its questions, the chair will close the hearing portion of the proceeding and proceed to the deliberation process. The board will then deliberate, make motions, and perhaps ask questions and make a decision accordance to the Inglewood Municipal Code and the city's rent stabilization ordinance. Policies and procedure. The board may affirm the hearing officer's decision, modify it, or reverse it. Please make sure that all cell phones are turned off or placed on silent. Is staff available to provide a brief synopsis on this matter?
Yes.
Board Liaison Amari Watson of Housing Services is present to provide a brief summary on this matter.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the Rental Housing Board. The item before the board is an appeal of a hearing officer's decision regarding a reduction in housing services at the property located at 124 North Inglewood Avenue. This appeal was filed by the property owner, 124 Inglewood LLC, represented by Jonathan Gallagher, following a decision issued by the hearing officer in petition number 25T0003. The petition was originally filed by several tenants of the property who alleged that there had been a reduction in housing services due to the removal of garage parking and storage facilities that had previously been provided as part of their tenancies. After reviewing the evidence and testimony presented during the administrative hearing, the hearing officer determined that the elimination of these services constituted a reduction in housing services under the city's rent stabilization and just cause eviction ordinance. As a result, the hearing officer ordered a rent reduction of $400 per month for the affected tenant units. The property owner has exercised their right to file an appeal to the Rental Housing Board on the hearing officer's decision. The staff report provided to the board includes a summary of the case background, the hearing officer's findings, the applicable legal and policy framework, including provisions of the Inglewood Municipal Code, the Rent Stabilization and Just Cause Eviction Ordinance, and the city's reduction in services valuation guidelines. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, we will start with the presentation by the appellant, the property owner. You can go to the back there.
Hello. So I am
Afternoon.
Jonathan Gallagher, owner, agent, representative for the business 124 Inglewood LLC, property owner of the property located at 124 North Inglewood Avenue in Inglewood, California.
My name's Gil Esquivel. I'm also part of the ownership group.
So we are here today to file an appeal for the amount of the $400 per month per tenant located at the property. We feel that it is overvalued. We had presented the tenants $150 credit for those garages, which we felt was a fair market value. After a conversation that happened during the initial appeal, there was verbal evidence from the tenants that we're getting local parking in the area for $125 and $150 per month. So we feel like a price range around that value is adequate. Additionally, the calculation to get to the $400 per square foot was used in an equation that valued the garage as an interior space. So on average, if we were using round numbers, the one-bedroom apartments are 600 square feet, interior living space, and the garages are 200 square feet. So the calculation was based off of a 25% reduction in rent, which we felt like was overinflated. We, as representatives of the owner and developer, recognize that there is a removal of service that is deemed a credit, and we feel that a fair credit amount in an amount lower than $400 is acceptable.
One other thing, yeah, from the beginning, we really never came into it disputing the fact that there should be a reduction. We always agreed from the get-go that there was a reduction in service. They should be credited an amount. So that was never in dispute at all. We actually wish we could have discussed this with them, with the tenants. They would have been comfortable coming to us to iron out the details, but because we would have been open to it. But nevertheless, here we are. We also wanted to raise the issue that the city of Inglewood issued us permits to build these ADUs in the rear of the property, and we paid developer fees, permit fees, etc., to build these units in the back, which are permitted by the city. So on one hand, we have the city kind of, not incentivizing, but allowing us to build these units, and then we have another department sort of in a way penalizing us. So for us as developers, especially we're smaller developers, it's it's a little confusing, getting kind of slightly mixed messages, and I think that should be something taken into consideration, as just from the perspective of the developer.
Yeah, so there's a couple other things I'd like to add. The Department of Building and Safety and the Housing Protection, in this particular case, it seems as if there's no connection or communication from either side. The Building and Safety Department allowed and fully approved and permitted plans to convert a existing garage structure.
Excuse me, but we're here to discuss the appeal.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to leave it with that.
Okay, so then let's discuss the actual framework of the lease. So the tenants that are disputing here, their leases all specifically state in writing that the garages are for parking and parking only, not as a designated storage space. So we feel that valuing the garages as a storage is also improper. And we feel like the value is extremely high at $400 per month. It does not incentivize housing development. Additionally, before starting construction, we notified the residents that just during construction, we were going to be removing parking, but that we were going to restore parking. The parking that we are going to restore is in the rear of the lot. The 2 units that are being developed are smaller micro units. They are going to be more than likely rented to low-income housing or government-assisted programs. And those 2 units will not be given the first priority on parking. We're going to give that first come, first served to the existing tenants. We would like to have them have restored parking, and that was something that was communicated before the start of construction.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Are there any tenants? Not yet. Are there any tenants or tenant representatives, persons who wish to respond or comment made by the appellant or make comments to the board why the hearing officer's decision should be upheld? Or any, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, members of the board and tenants. I thank you so much for being present and stuff at this time, and the owners.
I'm sorry, can you speak to the mic because we're having a hard time hearing you? Thank you.
Yes, my name is Mauro Lopez. I live at 124 North Inglewood Avenue, Unit 3. And so one thing that I heard the owners say was that I should state that when he first initially gave us notice that we would have to vacate the premises, I mean, the garages in the back and stuff, he stated 2 things. He said all property must be removed and cars and stuff must be removed from the garages and stuff. And then he also stated that at the end of construction, that parking would be given back to us, all of us as tenants and stuff. And I don't believe that, we were under the impression that maybe he might build like carports, which would accommodate all of us to have parking and stuff, but he's not doing that and stuff. And so what he told us and stuff was false. And so we're stuck with them saying that we're going to have 3 parking spaces and stuff for 4 tenants that live there with family. And so I don't think that's going to be able to accommodate us, and stuff, in lieu of the situation here and stuff. So, but also I just want to add that. When we moved there, when I moved into my apartment and I went into my garage, there were shelving that was built onto my units, and then I asked the other tenants. I said, and the garage next to me had shelves inside of them and stuff, and the previous owners had no problem with us putting storage in there, and basically that's what garages are for seasonal things and stuff, if nothing else, and stuff to put in there and stuff. As far as me personally and stuff, I use it for my hobbies. I play music, so I have my equipment in there and stuff. I surf, so I have my surfboards in there. I know this is may not be irrelevant, but it does mean something to me. I'm a plumber, so I have tools that I store in there. Now I have to pay rent of $270 plus $25 for insurance at a storage facility just to accommodate all of my property and stuff inside of a storage unit now. and stuff, which is like, almost $300. And I just want to add something and stuff that my tenants and stuff, some of them are disabled. Others work very late at night and have to walk from their car now and stuff back to the apartment, which is, we don't live in the most safest area and stuff, and so, and then we have, me, which I don't mind because I park my car in the outside, but we have other people that have to change their hours and stuff, because because they work and they had to take a reduction in pay because they work daytime job because they don't want to be working at night because it's dangerous, and stuff. And so just all these little things and stuff I just want to bring to light and stuff. And for the reason why that I think $400 is reasonable, just because of the trouble, and stuff, and stuff that we have that now we're faced with, and nothing is going to change that.
Thank you.
So I just want to also add, that on my original um, uh, um, on my original rent agreement, it said, on there and stuff, that, hold on 1 second, and stuff, it clearly stated that uh, no property could be placed on, it says here, I'm sorry, please bear with me. Okay. The only unit, okay, Mr. Contender, lease. Okay, so Mr. Gallagher contended that the lease agreement states that parking is designed for parking only and may not be used for storage under any circumstances. Mr. Lopez disagreed, contending that his apartment unit and his signed garage together constitutes his premises under the lease, um, which means that my property, it says that I cannot have any property outside of my premises, but within my premises, and my garage constitutes my premises because that's what I've been leasing. According to Section 8B of my lease agreement and stuff. So, and that's been stated on there and
Okay.
stuff. And so, basically, that's pretty much,
Thank you.
all I have to say and stuff, and I appreciate you hearing um, what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other tenants?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Frances Maldonado. I've been living at 124 North Inglewood Avenue, apartment 4 since 2001. I moved there with my daughter at the time, and I feel safe living upstairs. I had a parking garage to come home to. No longer. I fear for my safety at night. Sorry.
Okay.
I get up at midnight every night. I work at a grocery store. I come home until 12:30, 35 after. I see people walking in the street at night. I had rented a parking for like a month, and I'm no longer renting no more. And my car was broken into on January 2nd of this year, 2026. Taking my daughter to work, and I didn't notice it until I got in my car. Everything was hanging, and then that's when I looked back to see if anybody was in there. She came out and said, "Mom, someone broke your window. Somebody could have attacked me or my daughter from behind the seat because I didn't notice." My storage, some of it's in my living room, and I had to throw some stuff away already. It's just sad that everything was in peace before everything got destroyed in our parking. We don't have no garage. I came home, I believe in October. I left for an hour, 2 in the morning. I came back and they had broken the locks off my garage. And I couldn't believe it. And then I looked at Marl's garage and I seen a big square. And I was like, what the hell's going on? It was scary. There's not a lot of communication with Jonathan. Today was my first time meeting Gil, I believe that's his name. Today was the first time I met him. They came by our apartments before we came here. But it's very scary living where we live at, but I feel safe upstairs because that's where I live at. I see a lot of stuff going on, shooting when I first moved around there, but like I said, I'm upstairs and I see everything that's going around there. But it is hard coming home at night. It's scary. And then sometimes I have groceries and I have to park my car in the driveway just to take off the groceries. Some of it's heavy for me, so I have to take like 6 bottles of water little by little every day, going upstairs just because I can't park my car no longer in the garage. I hope that we could get our parkings back, but as we know, as of today, they said they're only going to have 3 parking lots back there, and there's 4 units back there. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Isabel. I'm in Unit 5. I've been there since October of 1999. I rented the apartment with a garage. The garage is big enough to fit a car plus storage, which I had my seasonal decorations, my bikes, bowling balls. It's been very stressful because all of this changed my lifestyle. I have to decide either I stay and visit my mom the whole evening and struggle with parking when I get home, or get home on time before 5 p.m., before everybody else comes from work, and find parking in front of the building. Street cleaning, it happens on Monday, and street cleaning happens on Tuesday. So in addition to not having a secure parking in the property, we have to struggle Monday and Tuesday finding parking. My husband is handicapped. He has a handicap for the past 6 or 10 years. So now he has to struggle, walk the long driveway to get to his car. In addition, this year in February, his toe was amputated. He's had a long recovery due to his diabetes. So he's still struggling. He's not 100% normal in walking. I rented a unit, a storage unit for my stuff, which, yes, I pay $125. But if I want to rent a space as big as a garage that I had, depending on the sizes, 10 by 20, 10 by 25, it starts from $450 to $700. So I think the ruling of the officer, it's fair, because this is stressful. He changed our lifestyle. And then today, we just find out that, as Francis is he's planning to just provide 3 parking space, and we're for a unit. What he said about offering us $150 for the accommodation of the garage, it was a lie, because he never told us, Unit 5, anything about that. And he never offered anything until the day of the hearing, because Unit 2, he stated that Jonathan offered him the $150. So I questioned, how come I didn't get offered anything? So the communication is not there. The responsibility is not there. The honesty is not there coming from Jonathan. And today he tells me that we're supposed to fight the city, because the city is responsible for allowing him for the construction of the permit for the construction. So he doesn't want to take responsibility of his actions as an owner or co-owner or agent, whatever he is. So I feel the 400 is fair enough for our struggles and stress.
Thank you. Are there any other tenants? No.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Hugo Sapon. I'm living in unit number 5 in 124 North Inglewood. Most of everything in this problem is the inconvenience is causing to everybody. Unfortunately, we live in a city which is not really safe, after 7, 8 o'clock at night. And unfortunately, I am disabled, legally disabled, and I was using the parking as my parking personal because I'm disabled. But when he decided to do his construction in the building, I was forced to also park in the street. And I am still in recovering from my surgery. And it's been very hard for me sometimes when I don't have nobody to take me to wherever I have to go. And then I have to go myself. And sometimes when I come back from a doctor's appointments or to do my errands, I don't find any parking because it's so crowded everywhere in Inglewood, with the parking spots. And it's not really, for me personally, I'm talking personally, it's not really the matter of the money, but it's the inconvenience if this issue is causing to everybody. Because 2 of my neighbors, they work at nighttime, and they arrive after 12, 1 o'clock at night. And I know it's very hard to find parking at that time. And he never communicate with us personally than the plans they have to build something in there. We just received one day one email where it says, "Oh, you have to remove everything from your parking garages because we're planning to do this and this and this and this," and that was it. And I think his responsibility as an owner and respectfully to us as tenants, he was supposed to communicate with us and say, "You know what, guys, we're going to have a meeting with you guys, and this is the plans I have." But that never happens. So we just did it. We just take everything out of our garages. Now we have to go to the storage unit. Every time we need something, we have to go there. And it's an inconvenience. That's most of the problem, the inconvenience. And then the other thing is when they took over the building, I don't know if as an owner or as a manager, I don't know what they are. But when they take over, they send us a letter where it says, "Oh, we're gonna increase the rent because this and this and this and this." And we comply. We says, "Okay, no problem. We pay." We don't came to the city. We don't came and says, "Oh, you know what? We're not agree. We're going to discuss this." We complained. We paid. Now it's his turn to complain. The decision of the city. A month ago, or maybe a month and a half ago.
You're limited on your time, so wrap it up.
Okay, so a month ago, he sent us another notice. He is going to raise the rent again.
Okay, but we're here to talk about the appeal.
Okay, so that's everything I have to say then.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
much.
Any other tenants? Would the appellant or the property owner like to address any matters stated by the tenants? This is your opportunity. And for the record, Inglewood is a safe city, just throwing it out there, guys.
So, so we just wanted to We just wanted to address the construction and the elimination of the parking. So
No, you're here to, you
Oh.
address anything the tenant request stated. This is your
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah.
Okay.
I think there were some questions about us proceeding with the construction, knowing that the parking was going to be eliminated. So when we first went to the building department with the plans for this project, the first ask that we had was, please, can we do garages on the first floor, and let's have our ADUs up above that, because we do not want our tenants walking to their cars at night. We don't want them being inconvenienced, especially when they're handicapped. I feel awful about it. And if we could have had parking, if the city would have allowed, the building department would have allowed us to have parking below, we would have done it in a heartbeat. But for some reason, I don't know what section of the code or some height requirement or something like that, we were not allowed to do that, even though we would have paid for it to accommodate the tenants. So that was kind of an unfortunate thing. We really, really wish we could have been able to do that, to allow parking for everybody, and then secure parking for everybody. Didn't say anything else about that one? That one's good. The other one, should we talk about that one? The single car garage.
So, I mean, one of the things we want to talk about is overall condition of the property. I'm sure you guys are seeing it across multiple different owners and tenants, is age of construction. 1960s building.
Okay, but we need to stay with what the tenant, your opportunity is to comment on what the tenant stated.
So, on the monetary value, so we understand there's a cost incurred to the tenants, for whatever parking or storage that they're doing now. We haven't heard anyone paying anywhere close to the $400 range, which goes back to our original kind of concern with the ruling, was that the 400 was kind of founded on not really founded on anything reasonable. So just wanted to restate that a $400 number has not been raised by anybody, any of the tenants, in terms of what they're paying to replace what we took away. And furthermore, in our research looking at market rates for parking, we've found similar rates around 200.
When we're looking at buildings in the area that are charging for parking as an addition to their unit, we're seeing rates from anywhere from at the low of 100 on average to about $125 to $175 per month for a parking space.
And then just final quick thing, we did notify all the tenants via email. Jonathan and I wish we could communicate with the tenants personally, but we live far away. We're very, very busy. I have small kids. I'm not able to come and talk, personally like I would have liked to. It would have been better, but most of our communication was via email, and we did give adequate notice for removing the items out of the garages. I think we gave 30. I think we originally gave 60. I think we gave 60 days, and actually we went beyond that, because at the 60 days there were still items left, and we didn't want to remove the locks with the items still in there. So we notified everyone, hey, this is really it. We got to get our stuff out, and then we proceeded like a week later probably to actually remove the locks. I just want to be clear that we didn't just kind of in a disrespectful way kind of remove the locks and remove people's items from their areas.
Thank you. Okay, we will now receive comments from the Rental Housing Board members. We'll go in order. Board Member Hamilton, do you have any questions or comments on this matter?
Yes. This is for the owners first, so I don't know if you want to step back to the podium. So I want to make sure I have a clear understanding. There were 4 parking spaces that were taken away, is that correct?
Correct.
And now you guys have plans in place to build or give back 3 parking spaces, is that correct?
Correct. In the rear of the lot, there's a huge expansive concrete footprint where there's adequate space. It will be uncovered parking
Mm-hmm.
unless we get approval to do some sort of carport.
Okay.
But as it stands right now, we will be restoring 3 uncovered parking spaces.
And how will you determine, because you got 4 tenants put out, and you got 3 spaces, how are you gonna determine who gets a space and who doesn't?
So we know that unit number 2, Morrow, who came up here and spoke, he does not park in the garage. So of the 4 garages, 3 of them would be spoken for. Those would be likely the 3 that would receive those parking.
Because they have cars, or because they park in there. And then pertaining to your lease, it's a little ambiguous. It says, it's only for parking except for personal property contained within the premises. And then it says storage is not permitted on the premises. So it's a little confusing, right? You got personal property that you can keep there, but you can't store anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with the storage is that, that garage, it's the garages that were there, which are built in the '60s or whatever. They're like 10 by 18, 10 by 20 garages, so they're like old single car garages for old cars. So I mean, there's barely enough room for a car to fit in there. So really not too much room for storage. I mean, of course, you could probably put something in there if you have some shelves and stuff, but the condition of the units as well, it's just they're in really bad shape. I mean,
The garages are in really
yes,
bad shape.
they've got dry rot. We had water intrusion issues in the back with water coming in from the back from the neighboring property. Termites, just pretty much getting ready to fall down, like the roof literally like falling in.
Okay, but let's stick to his question.
So it's not, so the storage was not really, of course you could store a few items in there, but it's not really meant for storage, in other words.
Gotcha. And so when you build the ADUs, you tore down the garages?
The garage conversion, so the same exact footprint.
Oh, okay, so you turn those garages into the ADUs. And so they eliminated all the 4 spaces. I think that is it for all the questions I have for you guys. Real quickly, the young lady that got up there, this is for a tenant. Yes, ma'am. Can you step back to the podium, please? You stated that your locks were broke off or something?
I noticed his Morrow's had a big square, like they sawed it off in a square.
Right,
And then I
so-
looked at mine, and mine was chopped off. I guess, I don't know what they broke it with.
So you guys were notified to get all your stuff out, and the owners.
I had until Saturday because I had emailed him, and I believe that must have happened between Monday through Wednesday, I think. And it was locked off. My lock was chopped off, and his was sawed off.
It was done by the owners.
It was someone told me it was someone in a black truck. So that's all we knew was someone in a black truck. He must have been spying or looking at our apartment, seeing if who was coming or going. And that's when they went, because it was weird. I was just gone for like an hour.
Let's stick,
Okay, so this has nothing to
stick to the
do with.
question.
It doesn't really have anything to do with what the owners were doing.
Okay.
Is that correct?
The what?
I'm saying the owners aren't the ones that chopped off your locks.
No, it was somebody in a black truck. That's all we
Okay,
knew.
Thank you.
Okay, so. Oh, okay, so you had notified the tenants to.
When I first moved in there, our lease said It was storage and parking inside. He had to park inside, and the roof, everything was good inside. It was, nothing was that I knew of.
That's okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me just ask you, you guys notified them they were supposed to remove their locks by a certain time. Well, you need to step to the podium.
So we had given, I believe the original notice was probably 60 days, I believe. So after the 60 days was up, went out to the property and to verify, if things were, there were still belongings in the garages. There were still belongings in a few of the garages. So we gave them, I feel like it was another week. We can look back at emails and stuff, but it was probably like another week saying basically, we're serious. This is it. We've already given you the 60 days. Have it out by this weekend, and then basically, I think that following week, I think I was there, and I think there was still things in the garages. So I cut the locks off because there's, that was it. There's no more storage. We can't be responsible for anything being closed in there, essentially. So
Okay, we're just answering the question.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Um,
Are we done?
Just
with
to
your
follow
questions?
on Gil's response, the tenants were given the 60-day notice. They had a few of them, not all of them, had asked for an extension. We granted an extension for a week. After that week lapsed, Gil had shown up. There were a couple of garages that were still locked. We removed the locks from those garages, and at that point, we would treat any left belongings, personal property, as they'd be left as trash, as if the tenants had left them just for us to remove.
okay.
And we needed to actually unlock the real reason we unlocked the garages or had to cut the locks out because we didn't have the keys, and we had to start work on the property from with our building permit that we had from the city.
Okay, that's okay, okay. Any other questions? Member Hamilton?
The young lady wanted to respond.
This is what I mean about miscommunication, not taking responsibility, and not being honest. So Jonathan sent us a text message saying, here, hello, or hi, I spoke to the city of Inglewood today. They said effective date of no parking in the garage will be October 1st. You can park in the back until September 30th. And that was sent on Thursday, September 25 at 4:59 p.m. Now, when Jill broke those locks, it was that exact date, September 25th, 2025. So I believe after he broke the locks and Francis spoke to Jonathan, Jonathan sent us a text that we have until September 30th because construction starts October 1st.
So they cut the locks off early? you believe?
25th, and we have until the 30th.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll let somebody else.
Board Member Fargrosa, do you have any questions or comments on this matter?
Yes, I have comments and questions. First of all, we've been talking a lot about everything except the reason we're here, which is what? It's 150 versus 400. Is that correct, or I misunderstood something? So the question is, how did they get it? How did you guys get to the 150? We heard how did the rest of the folks got to 400 quantity. I don't know. I live around here. I know what trouble you're having. I know the problems you're having. But the question is, how are we going to agree with 400 or go to 150? So, anybody have a reason why we should not go to 400? Okay, so it looks like that's the end of my question. Yes. Yes. We were 150. That's what you offered, right? 140 and 50. That's what you offered. They want 400. Why can't they get 400? what basis are you guys using for 150? Which I heard a few reasons, but you know what? When you go try to find it, you can't get it at 150 or 200. Sometimes you can't get it at 300. So the question is 400 versus 150, right? Anybody saying why we shouldn't go to 140? I mean 400? Some of the folks did go out, look, and they didn't come back saying it's easy or 400. I mean, excuse me, 150. So that's the only thing, question observations and you know, that we're here to do. Because all the other ones is incircumstantial. And you know, there was a lot of questionable activity as far as going in, going out, communicating, breaking locks and all that. You know, I've been through that too, but the bottom line is that's incircumstantial because there's only one question.
Board Member Fregoso, to
Yes, sir.
clarify, Chairwoman Heaney said out at the beginning of the meeting, the board is here to decide if there was substantial evidence to support the hearing officer's decision. And the hearing officer wrote a report that is 14 pages and some change long explaining why they did what they did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilmember Evans, do you have any questions or comments? Board Member Brown?
Yes, I wanted to ask, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask, at any time after you took ownership of the building, did you not tell your tenants that storage would not be allowed in the garages? Okay, so then you're saying, and then when they rented the apartments, the garage came along with that lease, correct? Okay, so that meant there's a substantial addition to rent when you have a garage, correct? Okay, so that would be considered part of their property as far as the garage and the, because you're renting both. Despite the language in the lease that they signed before you took ownership. If you wanted to change anything after you took ownership, you should have rewrote another lease explaining what you did. But like you said, you cut those locks off 5 days before you gave them a deadline, and then you considered their valuables in that garage as trash. No, but you're still saying that the garages were not for storage. You keep repeating that. But like I said, when you took ownership, you should have made it perfectly clear to the tenants, but you never did. There were shelves built in there for them to be able to store stuff. So, like I said, you're considering that the garages was just for a car and their property, but then you never addressed it to your tenants. Your lack of communication with your tenants was really not great. You just did things and expected them to go along with it. Okay,
Thank you. I'd like to ask a question. After the let me start over. After the park that you're going to do for the cars in the back is done, will they go back to the original rent? So they're creating, or they're going to construct a parking situation, correct? For the three, they're going to offer three because one doesn't have a car, is from what I understood. So does anybody know, whatever we decide?
Again, the decision, I think, the hearing officer's decision wasn't based on parking being restored.
Okay.
And that's what's at hand right now.
That's what my question is. So it's based on just, so if they restore parking, that's a different
not it.
issue?
Very good question.
Thank you.
I was thinking that too.
Chairwoman Heaney, it's my understanding from reviewing the report that the appeal is limited currently, or it's not currently, excuse me, the appeal is limited to the complete loss of parking, and that was secured private individual parking. There was a valuation assigned to that of $400. The appeal doesn't, or the petition that the tenants filed didn't actually extend out into what happens if we get something lesser in the future. That is an open question. I imagine there is going to be another petition potentially coming over that, but that is not something that was actually resolved in this hearing with the hearing officer. The hearing officer simply considered the complete loss of on-site, on-premises, secured individual parking. The hearing officer does make note of some of the competing figures that they considered before ultimately arriving at $400 a month, and identified that some of the things that made those other figures different were the fact that they were open parking. It was somebody's driveway. It was communal parking, a multifamily apartment building with a communal garage. Those are all different and distinct, and in simple terms, lesser than individual secured private parking. That is the loss that the hearing officer was considering and went to the RSG's survey that they completed for the housing department a few years ago, and that's where they arrived at the $400. So the figure that we're discussing today, $400, is, as I understand it, just for the period of construction up until the facts change at the property at 124 North Inglewood, and either they are restored, 3 or the 4 are restored to some sort of parking, and the 4th probably does continue to have complete loss of parking, because I heard it said a few times that this gentleman doesn't have a car. He does. It just doesn't fit in the garage, and that's why he used it for different purposes. But he does have a car too. It's his work. I believe it's the plumber, and it was his work truck. Yeah. So all the tenants leased their units with the understanding that they had individual private secure parking, and that is what the hearing officer considered was the complete loss of that housing service.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that clarification. Okay, no, we're done.
I just want to know, everybody keeps saying 400. When I look at the paperwork, it says 25%. So is it 400 or is it 25% of their rent?
As I understand it, it is $400, and it was not determined at 25%. I believe that it might have been a figure that somebody else arrived at simply by doing a proportion of the square footage of the garage versus the proportion of square footage of the apartment as well. And that is one of the methodologies that the hearing officer rejected, because the secured private garage was unfinished, unheated, uninsulated, had no services to it, so it did not make sense to value it like it was living space.
Okay.
And so they instead used some other formula in addition to a different figure from the RSG report that allowed them to arrive at a number very, very close to $400, and then ultimately they just called it 400 because it fell within a range, of figures that they could have applied, and so they went with 400 just for an accessible, easy round number that was still within the range that this document indicated to them.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
To deliberate.
Do we get to deliberate?
No?
I move that we go into deliberation. Is that
We
the
need a
motion?
motion.
No, the motion is, no, our motion is to accept,
Who's that on the screen? What's that?
Gary, do you have a comment that you would like to add?
Well, I just wanted to add that I agree with everything that had just been said by the deputy city attorney. I just wanted to add that the study, the RSG study, as you'll see in the staff report and the hearing officer's decision, is really key evidence for the board to look at in determining whether they think there's substantial evidence supporting his decision. This study was done just last year. It's authorized by Section 22 of the Policies and Procedures, and it really helps, hearing officers get to, as the hearing officer puts it, apples to apples. He's able to look at those issues that the deputy city attorney just raised of how these were actually secured private garages, very different from, someone's driveway, halfway down the block. And so the hearing officer actually looked, as you'll see in his report, that he looked at this range proposed by the study of between $386 to $500, and I believe $586, and he actually went for a pretty low part in that range of $400. So that's why our staff report concludes that that was a reasonable use of the evidence in this study that really is great evidence for the board to look at.
Thank you.
Chairperson Henny, can I add context to his question?
Sure.
The complaint first came to our office, so I was the one to mediate and negotiate the first using the RSG study that used the formula that is provided in the RSG study to come up with the first determination of numbers. When I did that and there wasn't an agreement with that, then we filed the tenants were allowed to proceed with a tenant petition hearing, and that's how the hearing became in front of the hearing officer. So that first number you were referring to came from our office by way of me, but also using the RSG study.
You mean the 25%?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to affirm and uphold the hearing officer's decision. Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Rental Housing Board Member Hamilton.
I'm going to abstain on this one.
Fregoso.
400, I say yes. So I'm hearing the 400 is the number, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Evans. Brown.
Affirm.
Chairperson Henny.
Yes. Capital improvement petitions.
Capital improvement petition submitted by Yakov Greenspan, Westland Real Estate Group for the property located at 827 West Beach Avenue, Inglewood, California, 90302, case number 25-0-0005, 9 units affected.
Have notice been given in time, form, and manner to the applicant and tenants?
Notice has been given in the time, form, and manner to all affected parties.
Is the applicant present to address the board? 2 minutes?
Hi, yes, I am.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm Catherine Scherner. I am the representative for Westland Real Estate Group. This is for our capital improvement at 827 West Beach Avenue. This project was designed first and foremost to ensure a safe, dry, and comfortable home for our residents. While this was a significant financial investment of over $43,000, the true value lies in the direct impact of our tenants' daily lives. Permanent reliability by performing a full tear-off and installing a robust 4-ply gravel rock system. We have moved temporary patches to provide a permanent solution to water leaks and internal moisture issues. The structural peace of mind, residents now live in a structurally sound environment where they no longer have to worry about weather-related damage to their personal belongings or living spaces. The enhanced comfort because the new multi-layer roofing system provides superior insulation, leading to better temperature regulation and increased comfort inside each unit. And then most importantly, the health and safety, as this project proactively presents the secondary issues often caused by aging roofs, such as mold or water damage, ensuring the long-term habitability of all these homes. I would happily like to report, we also have had no reports of any leaks since we have done the roof replacement, and the roof replacement also came with a 10-year warranty, so if there do come any leaks, we will have them out very fast to fix that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any person from the public who wishes to address the board on this matter? Okay, public comment section is now closed. We will receive comments. Are we going to deliver it?
No, no comments.
No. Do you have any comments? Okay.
Yes.
Are we closed for delivery? Oh, we do. Okay. Okay. So the Capital One.
This one?
Do you have any? Yes.
Gonna deliberate or not?
No, we're not. That's
No
where it's
deliberating?
open and it's open. No.
How much?
I thought we was gonna deliberate. I'm starving, man. Give it to him. What's the effect of this? Is that the chart that breaks it down?
This on your last page?
Oh.
Your last page? Your agenda packet. Looks like this here.
Just 9 units or 10 units? 11 units.
Thank you.
How they leave them?
So 21,000, 11 units.
This right here.
Maximum capacity.
Yeah, I see it.
Maximum duration, 72.
I don't have my.
It's right here. 827.
Monthly payment, $100.
So your options.
Actual reimbursement to the owner, 17,000. Should I make a motion?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve this capital improvement as stated here for 11 units, maximum $1,963 per unit for 72 months. And that's $100 per tenant.
27, 26.
What is it?
2726.
$27.26. Okay, I make that motion.
I second. Madam Secretary?
Rental Housing Board Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Fregoso,
I abstain.
Evans,
Yes?
Brown,
Yes.
and Chairperson Heaney.
Yes. Aye, yes. Okay, capital improvement petition number 2.
Capital improvement petition submitted by Yaakov Greenspan Westland Real Estate Group for the property located at 812 East Hyde Park Boulevard, Inglewood, California, 90302, case number 250-0006, 9 units affected.
Has notice been given in time, form, and manner to the applicant and tenants?
Yes, notice has been given in the time, form, and manner to all affected parties.
Is the applicant present to address the board? 2 minutes?
I sure am. Hello, Catherine Turner again for Westland Real Estate Group. This is in regards to 812 East Hyde Park for a pass-through for an extensive exterior restoration and repainting project that we completed in May of 2025. I want to emphasize that this was a major capital investment of over $26,000, specifically aimed at the long-term protection of the building and the well-being of our residents. The project was necessary because the building's protective coating had exceeded its service life. So to properly serve our tenants, we did not just do a cosmetic refresh, we performed a full-scale restoration. We repaired stucco cracks and imperfections to prevent moisture from entering the units. We applied 2 coats of durable high-grade paint to the entire exterior, including doors, railings, and carports. The results for our tenants is a healthier, drier, and more weather-resistant living environment. Furthermore, the investments benefit the broader Inglewood community by performing a full structure restoration rather than minor repairs. We are actively preserving the city's housing stock and ensuring these neighborhoods remain vibrant and high-quality places to live for all. Thank you.
Is there any person from the public who wishes to address the board on this matter? Okay, public comments is now closed. We will now receive comments from the Rental Housing Board. Board Member Hamilton, any questions or comments regarding this matter?
Where's the breakdown for this?
It's in the back,
Last page.
the very last page.
$15 a unit.
$1,554 for 72 months. 2238 for 50 months and 3197 for 35 months. Board Member Fregosa, any comments or questions on this matter?
None.
Board Member Evans, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Board Member Brown, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion?
I move that, I move that the 50 months at 2238.
And I'll second that.
Is there a motion? Madam Secretary, I'm sorry.
Rental Housing Board Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Fregoso,
I abstain again.
Evans,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
and Chairperson Heaney.
Yes, Okay. Public comments regarding other matters, persons wishing to address the Inglewood Rental Housing Board on any matter connected with the City of Inglewood housing protection regulations not elsewhere considered on this agenda may do so at this time. Persons with complaints regarding departmental operations are requested to submit their complaints first to the Housing Protection Director for resolution. Public comment section is now closed. We will now have closing remarks. Madam Secretary,
No comments at this time.
Board Member Mr. Hamilton,
No comment.
Board Member Mr. Fregoso,
No comment.
Board Member Ms. Evans,
No comments.
Board Member Ms. Brown.
No comment.
If there are no other remarks, with the Rental Housing Board is now adjourned. Thank you.
Hold on.